In everyday speech, we tend to speak simply of justice. But moral philosophers talk about different types of justice. St. Thomas Aquinas, for instance, writes about so-called commutative and distributive justice. Commutative justice refers to the relationship between individual members of a community, one person to another, such as between a seller and a buyer. This form of justice calls for equality in value of things exchanged. This includes exchange of goods and services, but also applies to the harm one person can inflict on another. If a thief steals a neighbor's cow, for instance, then justice requires a punishment equal to the crime. Distributive justice refers to the relationship between the community as a whole and its members. As St. Thomas says, "It's the justice that distributes the goods of the common stock according to proportion." Think of what we now call public goods and services. These are rightly provided by the government. St. Thomas's arguments show how carefully he thought through such issues. For instance, he asks, is the seller bound to mention any flaw there is in the thing sold? Well, he argues, it depends. If the flaw is known and reflected in the price, then there's no problem. If, however, the seller knows about a flaw and hides it, then that's unjust. St. Thomas also ponders whether it's okay for a seller of, say, corn to buy low and sell high. What if he knows competing sellers are on their way to the market and their competition will drive the price down? Thomas concludes that there's no injustice in that case. It might be virtuous for the seller to tell his customers that more supply is on its way, but he's not obliged to do so.